In today's video, we're going to be going over some head-turning, attention-grabbing fragrance clones that a lot of people might not be wearing. They might not even be aware that some of these exist. So the great thing about these fragrances, the great thing about these clones is that, well, you can get into a very popular and trendy smelling scent DNA without spending that amount of money. All of these are going to be, of course, significantly less than what it is that they're a clone of. As always, I'll drop links to everything we talk about today down below in the video description. That way you can find these at the prices that I reference when I do mention a price. We're kind of leaning in the more so spring direction here with these selections for obvious reasons. Now, this first one is actually Armaf Odyssey Mega. This is the Eau de Parfum version here, limited edition, right down there at the bottom. Now, don't let that scare you. You can still get this one on all of the major discounters. Going to be around $30 or so for this guy here, okay? And it's been out for several years now at this point. Definitely not what I would consider to be a new release. So I don't know how limited it truly is, but you could still get it, rest assured. Now, this is actually a clone of YSL Eau de Parfum, and it's a really, really good one at that too. You know, leave it to Armaf, man, I'm telling you. They're kind of one of the OGs in the clone space, put on the map, of course, by Club de Nuit Intense Man, which is one of the most popular Creed Aventus clones, and they've been on a roll ever since then. They've released a lot of really solid quality fragrance alternatives at great prices, okay? And this is one that gets you into that more expensive Eau de Parfum DNA, which is one of the more popular designer fragrances out right now, utilizing that apple, the sage, lavender, geranium, and of course all of that amberwood. YSL's take on a blue fragrance, right? It's usually over $100. I think sometimes even $110, $115, $120, and we're talking discounted pricing here for 100 ml full presentation. That's on the upper end of things. I mean, that's right there in line with Dior Sauvage. It's not too far off from Bleu de Chanel. It is cheaper than that. It's more than double the price of Dylan Blue, so it kind of shows you where that one clocks in at. Not everybody wants to fork over 120 bucks on a blue scent. You don't have to. You can spend around 30 and get something that gets you very close. Quality is amazing, so that's one thing that's really nice about this one. It doesn't smell cheap or synthetic in the slightest bit. It really does have a nice smooth blend to it. You get that nice apple that you can smell off the opening, of course, but even off the dry down as well. You pick up on it, you get all the aromatics, you get a little bit of that minty green sage, and of course the heavy dose of amberwood giving it that blue type of smell. Just a really, really well done take on that very popular DNA. It also has really good performance as well, clocking in at an Eau de Parfum here. Looks like this is a August of 2022 batch. They actually printed that on the bottom. Pretty cool. I'll let you take a gander at that for yourself if you would like. So I'm guessing it probably came out in 2022. I'm sure I got this somewhere around the time that it was released. So yeah, I definitely had it for a few years and still available. So really solid release. I do enjoy this one. And I don't really hear about this. I don't think too many people know that this is a thing. But again, if you want Eau de Parfum for cheap, I would consider this highly. This next one is going to be Dumont Nitro Pour Homme. This is the Elixir version. Now, Dumont is kind of a little bit of a newer clone brand. Now, to be fair, I don't know how new they actually are. So before I get myself in trouble there, I don't know if they're a new clone brand. It seems as though the hype surrounding some of their fragrances is on the newer end of things. And from my understanding, that started with Nitro Red, not last year, but maybe the year before. Kind of on TikTok, I believe that one blew up. I was very late to getting a bottle, but it is really good. They released Nitro Red Intensely, and there's a ton of other Nitro fragrances as well, and a ton of other Dumont fragrances in general. They got the Soprano lineup and other stuff, right? Quite a bit to choose from. So I don't know how new they are, but they're definitely not as well established as Armaf, Fragrance World, Lattafa yet, although I think they could be on their way because they've been pumping out quality. This one here has essentially this kind of orange blossom, praline, tonka bean, and apple mixture. So what you get is something that smells a lot like Nitro Red and Nitro Red Intensely, coming from all the fruits in the apple. You're getting kind of an orange blossom, white floral, and some praline tonka sweetness. To me, this is essentially kind of Nitro Red with a little bit of YSL Myself. Could be a little bit of EDP, could be a little bit of Le Parfum, just kind of in that category. Actually, even a little bit of Absolute as well, from maybe some of that sweetness. So it kind of goes in that direction. Again, still focusing on the Nitro Red platform primarily, at least from what I get. And the orange blossom in particular reminds me of another very popular scent from Gucci, and that is Guilty Elixir. So maybe a bit of Guilty Elixir in here as well. Just that type of orange blossom and a floral touch that this one has reminds me a little bit of that Gucci scent. So nice, because this is way more affordable than those YSLs and that Gucci. This is an straight concentration as well, if I didn't mention that already, and it's, I think, usually around $40, maybe $45 for this one. That's 100 ml. Also, you get a nice magnetic cap. That's a bonus. I've said this before, but they did not start these off with magnetic caps. Like, for example, if you get regular Nitro Red, it's, or at least it was a click cap. Maybe they upgraded the presentation now, but it started off with just a regular press fit cap or click cap. When they released Nitro Red Intensely, they upgraded it to magnetic. So it's such a small detail that doesn't affect the wearing experience in the slightest bit, but it shows you that they are open to making improvements to their product lineup, which I think is a very attractive trait in any brand, but especially clone brands. You know, they are trying to advance their product a little bit, even if it's minor details like that, which is nice to see. This next one is Maison Asrar Vanguard. I've talked about this one quite a bit, but I just can't get enough of it. Now, this is a clone of Creed Absolute Aventus, and this one is so impressive. This is not the first Absolute Aventus clone. We've had a few others. Actually, there's Rasasi House Black, which kind of gets us in that category a little bit as well. But this one, to me, has more of an interesting blend and more of a premium feel to it. Now, House Black is great. It's a powerhouse scent, very strong, but it's almost a little bit too sweet, a little bit too syrupy sometimes. I think this one takes more of a neutral approach on that Absolute Aventus DNA, still getting us dialed in pretty close, but not to the point where it takes it too far over the edge, because I think you can definitely go that direction. And we've seen it with, in my opinion, Ashane Hassavat, kind of inspired after Aventus, but they go really, really oak moss heavy and very syrupy, sweet pineapple heavy. Sometimes it's a bit too much. Hassavat can be a bit overpowering. I like regular Aventus because of that bright fruitiness. Absolute Aventus still retains that, but just gives you more of a heavier feel, more of like a patchouli approach as well. And that's kind of what Vanguard does too. It just really stays in line with that. And the thing that has really impressed me with this one since the beginning is the quality and the blend. It's just very impressive. I think around $40, $45 for this one right now currently. It's not the cheapest clone. These Asrar fragrances, Maison Asrar, have started out a little bit more expensive, but I have seen them trend down a little bit, and typically there's a coupon available as well. But what you're paying for is not just, the name, because it's not like a well-established brand yet. It's just you are paying for quality with these. Presentation is great. The scent quality is great. The performance is great. Just really, really impressive stuff. If you want a solid Absolute Aventus clone that gets you dialed in really close, has great performance and great quality, check this one out. Highly recommend it. It's newer, so not too many people are going to be wearing this one. And just in general, Absolute Aventus is kind of probably out of touch for most people's budget out there, outside of the community. So rest assured, wearing something like this, you are going to stand out. This next one is from Armaf. Yet again, we have Club de Nuit Urban Man Elixir. Absolutely love this stuff. And this is another one where, at least in my opinion, you don't hear about it all that often. But this is essentially Sauvage mixed with Aventus type of smell. And we've seen this from several other brands before. Parfums Vintage, I think, might have been one of the first to do this. I'm not 100% sure. I know Dua has done this and some other brands as well. Kind of more independent fragrance brands have done their combinations. But I know Parfums Vintage, they did X-Batch and stuff like that years and years ago. So this is nothing new. People have been combining Aventus and Sauvage for years. It just sounds like sacrilege for some people, comparing or combining, a $100 designer with a $400 niche fragrance that we know doesn't actually have value anywhere near $400, more like $200 and $220 on discounters, but still, sounds crazy, but it's not too far-fetched. So this is essentially combining them. You're getting a little bit of Aventus / Club de Nuit Intense Man mixed with Dior Sauvage, more specifically the Eau de Toilette version, the brighter, fresher, bergamot, pepper, ambroxan based. And the mixture is amazing. It smells so, so good. And this is why people have been mixing this for years, because the two just work together very well. And for obvious reasons, buying something like this is pretty cost effective, because if you were to buy Club de Nuit Intense Man, and then either Sauvage or a Sauvage clone, no matter which way you go about it, you're going to be in it more money than if you were to buy this, right? One bottle of this, or you spend money on buying 2 bottles to try to concoct your own. Now, maybe you already have Sauvage, maybe you already have Club de Nuit. You can combine them at that point, but this is still nice if you just want to have it all in one with a little bit of a twist as well. Usually around $40, $45 for this stuff. Just great performance. Mass appeal is through the roof because, well, you're combining 2 of the most complimented fragrances ever. And when you do something like that, you're pretty much guaranteed to get success in that regard. So just really nice. And again, nobody's really talking about this stuff, but they should be. All right, now this next one here is from, what's the brand again? I can't remember. It's Valencia Womo Intense. I thought it was Milestone Perfumes, I think is what it is, or Milestone Parfums. Something along those lines, but it's Valencia Womo Intense. I think you can kind of tell what this one's a clone of Valentino Womo Intense. I mean, they did a pretty good job. Got to give them credit. The name, of course, but the bottle's similar. Of course, it's not exact, but it does have that same type of texture going on here. Slight gradient. Can maybe use a little bit more of a gradient, but nonetheless, still really, really cool. And gives you that feel. And it does smell a lot like Womo Intense, not exact. Okay, this is not one that is going to take the place of Womo Intense because it's hard to beat Womo Intense, and this one's a little bit fresher, okay? But it does get you very close, and it's one of the few Womo Intense clones that we have that I'm aware of. And of course, at this point, we know that Valentino Womo Intense has been discontinued per Valentino's official website. This is not just hearsay. This is go to their website and it says this product has been discontinued, check out this instead. And then they point us to Born in Roma, which is, of course, nothing like Womo Intense, just completely silly there. They don't even point us towards the original Valentino Womo. Maybe they discontinued that as well. But anyway, no longer around. But this one is going to get you into that DNA, usually like 20 to 30 bucks. These are on the cheaper end. Again, these are not amazing, like super, super good, but close. And that's all that matters sometimes, you know. This is still a solid scent that, you know, has that kind of leathery iris going on. Great for fall, great for winter. So this is the one exception to our spring theme here. Although I guess you could wear it on cooler spring days as well. Again, this one is a little bit fresher than actual Womo Intense, but I just thought I'd throw it in. A nice little option here. Let's keep it moving with Rasasi It's Essential, or It's Essential, however you want to say it. It's an eau de parfum, really cool looking bottle. I love the color of the liquid. I can't tell if the glass is tinted or the liquid. I think it's the liquid. Pretty cool here. We've got bergamot, geranium, and cedar wood is what they give us. However, essentially what this one is it's YSL L'Homme Ultime, which is another discontinued fragrance, a really, really good scent that's super unique, ginger-based. Just smells really, really nice. It takes me back to L'Homme Ultime, man. What a good scent that they got rid of, and they've discontinued a lot of good fragrances within the L'Homme line, and also the La Nuit de L'Homme line. It's just the life cycle of these lines, because after all, they're going to keep pumping them out, and at some point, they just have to axe off the old stuff, right? Just for production reasons, and it makes sense, right? To keep a line going that big on stuff that probably isn't selling is a logistical nightmare. So I understand it, but man, in the process of that, sometimes we do lose some truly amazing scents, and L'Homme Ultime was one of them. Luckily, we can rely on these clone brands to give us things that kind of put us back into that category a little bit, and this is one of them. Beautiful ginger-based woody scent. Smells so good, so bright, uplifting, and L'Homme Ultime was built for spring. In my opinion, you could not choose a better time of year for L'Homme Ultime than spring. And honestly, I think it's one of the most spring smelling fragrances I've ever tried as well. Just super premium stuff. This one here is going to get you close. And because that's discontinued, and because not a lot of people know about this, you can wear this out and about and you are going to smell unique. Has a real nice classy kind of gentleman smell about it as well. It's just really, really solid. And last up for this video, we have Bright Peach by Maison Alhambra, which is a clone of Bitter Peach by Tom Ford. Now, of course, we have peach. We also have blood orange, cognac, and patchouli. Maybe not what you would expect to see out of a peach scent. You're probably expecting bright, juicy peach and maybe some other fresher notes for spring and summer, and you do get the bright, juicy peach for sure. However, the sweeter, more boozy notes, the cognac and some of that patchouli and stuff like that, you might not have been expecting. However, it works really well. And to me, this one is great for springtime. I really do think so. It's a bright, fruity scent. Not something I'm going to be reaching for in winter. It just doesn't really have a wintry theme to it. I got other things to wear. So I would be wearing this in the springtime, you know, cooler spring, beginning of spring. As soon as we start getting into the real hot, humid parts of summer, I'm not going to be picking this one up. But, you know, there are a good few months out of the year where you can get a lot of use out of this one. And you could also wear it in fall as well. But again, I just think the brightness kind of lends itself to, you know, a 55-degree and sunny spring day. You still got a little bit of cool in the air, but the sun is warm on your skin. That type of scenario, I think, is a good time to wear something like this. Really nice way to stand out as well, because obviously the Tom Ford is expensive. A lot of people aren't going to buy it, and not a lot of people necessarily know that this is a thing. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Some clone fragrances that you might not have heard of, or maybe you have, but maybe you haven't tried them yet. And definitely people around you out in the public space aren't going to be wearing these, so it's a great way to stand out. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.